How's it, data firm? Welcome to Data with Clarence. And today we're going to be talking about the Wits Postgraduate Diploma qualification. I think a lot of you have been asking me about it, whether it's worth doing and stuff like that. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering exactly that. We're going to go through the requirements, the curriculum, how it's like, the costing, and whether it's possible to actually do it if you are someone who's actually working. And just a disclaimer, guys, I'm still in the program because I couldn't finish it because it was very hectic. I think this year there was a lot of things happening, so I had to put it on hold just a little bit. So I apologize if I disappointed anyone, but that is what exactly happened. But I've been in the program, so I've got some insights on how exactly it's being run. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. Okay, cool. So what exactly is the Wits Postgraduate Diploma in Data Science? Look, this is a great sort of program for those that are trying to get into the data space, whether it's data science or data analytics. The nice thing is that it also caters for people without an IT background. So if you come from a background that is not IT, it actually still gives you that opportunity to actually get into the space. And to be honest with you, I would say it is the best way for you to get into the data space. So if you've got a degree that is not IT related, it is the best program to actually do in order for you to have a higher chance of actually getting into the data space from a working perspective. And even if you studied IT, but you know, some IT degrees are not really maths intensive. So if you didn't do computer science, chances are you won't actually qualify for this program. So you won't actually qualify for like honors in data science and stuff like that. So it's also a good way for someone who's got an information systems qualification to transition into the data space. I didn't study computer science, so which is why I'm actually doing a PGDip in data science. And it also gets you entry into masters in data science. It's actually a great program. Now let's talk about the requirements for this qualification. So what exactly do you need in order to qualify for this qualification? Look, firstly, you need a degree. Right? You need to have completed an undergraduate level degree. It does not matter whether it's from an IT perspective, so any undergraduate level degree is fine, right? Cool. Now, the other thing that you need is you need to have scored about 65% in mathematics in high school. So you need to have done pure mathematics from high school. If you did maths literacy, unfortunately, you might not qualify for this program. So those are the two very important requirements. 65 sort of like percent in mathematics in high school, and an NQF level 7 qualification or a degree basically. And those are some of the key requirements really for you to enter into the PGDip in data science. Nothing else that is hectic that you basically need. So those are the requirements for those that are wondering if they can get into the PGDip in data science. Now let's talk about the curriculum, right? I'm sure most of you are wondering, what exactly do you learn? Is it even worth it? Look, honestly, as someone who works in this space, and having done the program for the time I actually spent doing the program, I think it is great. The content itself covers the key things that you genuinely need in order for you to become a data scientist. So on that regards, I think it is a really cool program. So now let's get into the detail of the different modules that I actually covered. So I've got my screen next to me just to make sure that I don't miss any of the modules. So firstly, they've got about 4 compulsory sort of like modules that you genuinely need to complete. Now, this is what you would do in your first semester. So the first semester, you do those 4 compulsory sort of modules. So the way that they actually do it is that you do 2 in each block, and then once you finish with the 2, you move on to the next one. And in terms of exams, there's not really too many exams. I think there's about 2 exams that you might be writing for this. So let's talk about the modules. So firstly, we've got the programming for the data scientist. So this is a really good module. Because it covers the core concepts of programming for data science. So you cover Python programming, right? So it's literally Python programming fundamentals. So you get to learn the fundamentals of Python programming. And the way that they're structured is that there's different labs. So the labs is like they give you different Python problems that you need to submit. So I think it's a weekly thing. So every week you've got a Python submission and stuff like that. And I think it's really good in sort of like upskilling yourself in Python programming, and you get to actually see how Python programming is actually done. And in terms of how they test this one, so they do it in, so I think what happens is that They give you a set of questions during the exam, and they give you Python documentation. What you need to do is to solve those questions by literally writing code. So the exam is literally code. There is some bit of multiple choice mixed in the exam, but I think it's a mix of both. So you do the multiple choice, then you also do the practical side of things. So you would get about, I think you've got one test, and then the other test is sort of like the exam itself. Now the other program is the mathematics and statistical foundations for data science. Now this one goes deeper into the maths behind data science, right? And I think it was an intense one because I didn't have much time to actually look into it. But when I looked at overall, it covers some of the key concepts of the key mathematical concepts that you generally need to be aware of as a data scientist. So it is a good entry. I wouldn't say it was very hectic, but it's definitely doable. You probably just need time for this one. What I know is that there's one test and there's also an exam. Basically, there's about 2 tests for these ones, and you have to be in person actually to write those 2 tests. Now, the other one is applied machine learning. Now, applied machine learning, I think this one was really good because it literally took the mathematics side of things and applied it in the context of, let's say, data science, right? So this is where you get to do a lot of data science and all of that. So you actually get to use Python to actually build machine learning models. And there's a huge emphasis on actually using mathematics and the data science concepts, but you also get the practical side of actually building machine learning models and stuff like that. So I genuinely enjoyed it. I think it was one of my favorites because it's a good blend of mathematics and machine learning. They cover things like neural networks and stuff like that. So really exciting machine learning concepts. Now, the other one is data science and practice. Now, data science in practice, I think this one was more focused on the regulatory side of things, right? We talked about ethics, like in building machine learning model. How do machine learning models actually affect people in society? So I think that was a really good, and it's something that's really important as you build these machine learning models. What is the impact of them in society, and what are the different measures or different methodologies that you need to look at in deciding what is the best approach. So it was more of an ethics side of things, and you also get to learn like the POPIA Act, like data related sort of regulations and stuff like that. But towards the end, we got to use a very interesting tool. I think it's Apache Spark, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a really sort of cool tool that is used for data analysis. So you would actually get to use that for some of the cool analytics and stuff like that. So I think that was something that I genuinely enjoyed. So it was a good program. So the first semester overall is going to be great. It's more teaching you all the key concepts that you actually need in order for you to become a data scientist. Now, moving on to the second semester. Now, honestly, the second semester to me felt like it's now more of you applying the knowledge that you've basically learned from the first semester, because literally the second semester was just projects. All the modules that you get to choose actually is just projects and projects. So every single week you have to submit a project. So that's where you get the real practical aspect of building machine learning models and stuff like that. So there's a couple of different electives that you can choose, right? So the nice thing is that second semester you can actually choose which ones you want to do. So on my screen over here, there was something called application of machine learning in chemistry. I didn't choose that one, but a friend of mine actually did. Well, she said she wouldn't recommend it. So if you're going to choose that one, yeah, I don't know what exactly they did, but she said she wouldn't recommend it for someone who would like to become a data scientist. The other one was health analytics. Look, this one was very stressful. I don't want to lie to you, but it was really good in a sense of learning machine learning sort of skills, because we would use Python, we did data imputation, we did a lot of machine learning, different types of machine learning models that are really important in the health space. So if you genuinely want a module that's going to teach you the combination of health and also a machine learning model, I think that one was one of the best, honestly. It is a bit intense in terms of that you need to reference journal articles, you need to explain why you're using a certain model and stuff like that. So for me, that was the little bit of a hectic thing, and I think that's when things honestly started going south for me, because it was just a lot of pressure and you have to submit it every single week. But that one is really good if you want to learn machine learning concepts and how it relates to the health space. Now, the other one is data science in education. Well, this one I wouldn't really call it data science because it was more focused on data analysis, right? So this one was actually using SQL and Power BI. So if you're someone who wants to be in the data space and you want to be a data analyst, I think the one in education is really good because we learned SQL for like about 3 weeks or something like that, or a month. Yeah. And then after that, you had to do Power BI, and you had to do projects and submit them at the end of each week. And even with the Power BI one, I think we did about 2 Power BI assignments. So that was also a really good sort of use. So if you want to get some little exposure in data analytics, I think that one is really good. The other one was the visualization of African societies and data. Honestly, yeah, that one was a little bit tricky, but if you want to learn how to use the R programming language, so that one was not using Python, it was not using SQL, it was actually using R, and you get to use some of those map visualizing tools, those geographical sort of visualization tools. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd say you can actually choose that one, but the focus really is about visualizing data in the context of African societies, basically. The other one is social media analysis. So I think this one also very good. It's a very good way of blending social media and also data analysis. So if you're someone in the social media space, I think it would actually be a good blend, honestly. The last one was the spatial data analytics. Look, honestly, I think this one also used the programming language R, but yeah, it was also a very, very tricky one. But honestly, I think overall, all these were really good modules. I don't want to lie to you, but I'm not sure about the chemistry one because a friend of mine said you shouldn't do it. So honestly, if you want to get a little bit exposure from my data analytics, please just make sure that you choose the education one as an elective. So yeah, basically those are the modules that you guys basically have to choose. I think you have to choose about 5 electives. You don't have to choose each and every single one of them. So yeah. So now let's get to the study mode. How exactly do you attend this program? Do you need to be in person? Do you need to fly in sometimes if you're doing it from a different, let's say, province? Honestly, I would say it's a mix of both, right? It's some of the things are done online, but there will be times when you need to actually be in person and do your submissions in person. Look, but I don't think it's that frequent. I think in the first semester you might see yourself being in person for the test, I think about 4 times, maybe 5, but nothing more than that. So it's not really intense in being in person. And in terms of the classes, you've got the option of being in person or actually doing it online. So that is how it was actually done last year. I'm not sure if they're going to change things this year, but I doubt that they will actually do that. And then in terms of the second semester was really a lot submitting your things online, but there will be some tests where you need to be in person. So I think relatively you might find yourself in person about 6 times. In the second semester. So overall, you're not going to be in person more than 20 times. It's probably going to be less. But I would say that you will be required to be in person sometimes. So that was the other thing. And in terms of the costing for this qualification, when I did it, it was about 60,000. So I'm not sure if it's going to change. So probably need to budget around 65 or something like that. But that was the costing when I actually did the program. So yeah, so that in a nutshell is what the Wits PGDip in data science actually covers. And to be honest, giving you my honest feedback, it is a great program, right? It does help you get into the data space, and I've seen a lot of people get into the data space through this program. So it actually does have a lot of credibility. So yeah, if you're wondering if you should be doing the Wits PGDip in data science, I would definitely recommend it, and I'd say it is a great program. So hopefully this video was of use to all those that are deciding whether they need to do the Wits PGDip in data science. If you like this video, please like and subscribe so that more people can get access to such content.